Now, severe weather summer threats. All this week, we're tracking potential summer weather risks to help you stay prepared just in case.
And names like Carol, Gloria, Bob, and Sandy are reminders to both young and older generations of what tropical storms and hurricanes can bring to our area.
We're just 6 weeks into this year's hurricane season, and 4 named storms have developed already.
So what should we expect for the rest of the summer? Chief Meteorologist Tony Petracca has a preview.
Hurricane season runs from June through November, the most active part of the season during the month of August and September. In fact, 61% of all named storms occur during this time period. Some of the worst storms ever to strike southern New England occurred during the months of August and September. This summer's hurricane forecast is for an average season, which is to say it will be more active than last year's very quiet season. Regardless of active versus inactive, it only takes one storm to have a major impact. For example, Hurricane Andrew in 1992, a $25 billion storm that struck South Florida, occurred during a season that only had 7 named storms. So what does the rest of the hurricane season look like? On average, we get about 12 named storms. We've seen 4 so far. Of the 12, 7 are hurricanes, and of the 7, 3 are major hurricanes, category 3 or higher. The forecast for the season is for 10 to 16 named storms, 4 to 8 being hurricanes, and 1 to 4 being major hurricanes. That's actually considered an average season. But keep in mind, these numbers do not represent the number of storms that will make landfall, but rather the number of storms that are expected to form out over the ocean. Besides the obvious, the damaging wind and the torrential rains from hurricanes, the most dangerous element is the storm surge. A massive rush of rising water coupled with large waves that can wipe houses right off their foundations. Some hurricanes, as they approach southern New England, can produce a very powerful onshore wind. Quite simply, the wind is dragging ocean water towards the coastline, towards Narragansett and Buzzards Bay. The geography of Narragansett Bay is such that it starts off wide at the mouth of the bay and then gets very narrow the further north you go. So as this water advances north, it is forced to rise rapidly. And that is especially enhanced as you get closer and closer to downtown Providence. Now the water is forced up the narrowing channel of the Providence River, and that water rises rapidly. The net result, massive flooding. Hurricane Carol in 1954 and the Great New England Hurricane of 1938. Kennedy Plaza. Back in 1938, it was called Exchange Place. And on the morning of September 21st, 1938, the day started much like this, sunny and tranquil. No one knew that one of the worst hurricanes in American history was about to strike. By mid to late afternoon, 14 feet of seawater covered the entire plaza. One of the most horrific images, the Biltmore Hotel, with water up to the first floor. We often hear people say we are due for a big hurricane. The last major storm, meaning category 3 or higher, was Carol back in 1954. The last direct hit from a hurricane was category 2 Hurricane Bob back in 1991, 25 years ago. History points out we average tropical weather systems roughly every 3 years and a direct hit from a hurricane every 15 to 20 years. But we need to be prepared every summer. Statistics suggest we are due. Unfortunately, it's not a matter of if, but rather when. Of course, you don't need a direct hit. Case in point, and you had mentioned this, Hurricane Sandy making landfall across New Jersey, but still a significant impact along our South Shore, especially places like Westerly. So it's not always a direct hit. Even fringe effects can be pretty significant around here.
And sometimes when you take a look at it and you say, all right, it's not going to be a direct hit, it's not going to be that bad. But Sandy, people were out without electricity for over a week. And it's not, the hurricane is not a pinpoint on the map. It has significant weather well in advance of it. And Sandy was a good example of that. In fact,